one price, one payment today at Hahn Chrysler Plymouth.
The pick of the litter is still available, but it's time for our babies to leave home. Wait a few days, even a few hours, and you may be too late. We're talking about the best closeout sale in the United States on Toyota, the best car in America. Toyota's given us money to give you that can save you thousands right now. So if you'd rather have a Camry, Corolla, Tercel, or Toyota pickup instead of something ordinary, do what these people are doing. Come and get them. But remember, waiting days or even hours may be too late.
Concept Homes invites you to celebrate their grand opening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Main Street in Union Gap. See for yourself why the Concept series of homes by Fuqua are becoming the standard by which all others are judged. On-the-spot financing available, 5% down, and no closing costs, and factory representatives will be on hand to answer all your questions. That's Friday through Sunday, September 15th through the 17th at Concept Homes grand opening. Come celebrate. Concept Homes, Main Street, Union Gap.
You're watching KIMA NewsBeat 555, the Valley's #1 news source.
Nearly 1 year after a failed attempt to pass a Yakima Basin water enhancement bill through Congress, negotiators are still at the drawing board. A new special assistant appointed by Governor Booth Gardner told the House Ag Committee today that she hopes some water conservation projects will be approved this year if Congress is given a smaller pill to swallow. NewsBeat Ag reporter John Rothland explains.
The state's congressional delegation made a last-ditch effort to submit a comprehensive water enhancement bill before Congress last year, but the long-running dispute over water rights and the substantial price tag which accompanied the big fix left Yakima Basin water users high and dry. Now negotiators have reverted to pursuing an early implementation package, which is less ambitious but may be easier to get through Congress.
The idea was to move towards something that we saw as winnable. Since this has been going on for 10 years, we really want to move forward this year with something, and we're thinking that something less than a big fix will be able to work out.
The proposal would include unspecified improvements to a number of irrigation districts on the Yakima project. It also calls for raising the Cle Elum Reservoir by 3 feet. Under this phase of the enhancement legislation, all other storage expansion projects are merely targeted for study, including the proposed expansion of Bumping Lake.
It may be determined that bumping, for whatever reason, environmental, political, or otherwise, may fall out. But at this point, the concept in this package, in this legislation, is to take a look at all storage options. So I don't think that you can characterize it as having fallen out at this point.
Water enhancement negotiators will meet again on October 9th when they hope to adopt a draft of the early implementation bill. The legislation will not affect water right claims, but Richmond hopes it will help resolve the disputes currently being fought in the courts. John Rothland reporting for NewsBeat.
Governor Booth Gardner says he will continue to seek the participation of the Yakima Indian tribe in an historical centennial accord. The state of Washington, along with most of the 26 recognized tribes in Washington, recently signed the accord which outlines conservative or cooperative relations between the state and local Indian tribes. But the Yakima tribe voted overwhelmingly not to participate in the accord, citing a long history of distrust with the state. Governor Gardner told NewsBeat this week that he is still hopeful the Yakima tribe will change its mind.
Before we signed with the 27 other tribes, most of those had the same attitude. So the way to get things done is to work together. We're going to continue to pursue that avenue.
What did you tell the others to change their minds, and what did you tell you?
You don't tell anybody anything. You suggest that the only way that we can make good things happen is to recognize each other's sovereignty, recognize each other's needs, and work together to accomplish things rather than spending all of our time in court.
During a recent council meeting, tribal officials said they were opposed to ever entering into an agreement with the state. General Council Chairman Philip Alney says the state has always neglected to consult with the tribe on issues that affect the rights of Indian people. Gardner says from the state perspective, the Yakima tribe's decision not to participate has not dampened the spirit of the accord. The Yakima tribe is the largest in the state of Washington. A 24-hour vigil is underway at the state capitol in Olympia at this hour. Vietnam veterans and others are conducting the vigil in support of soldiers they believe remain in Vietnam. The group thinks there are at least 200 American prisoners of war still alive in Vietnam. The head of the State Veterans Affairs, Jesse Farias of Yakima, urged authorities to make every effort to find the truth about the missing soldiers. The governor contends the federal government has several reasons to deny the existence of prisoners in Vietnam. One is that admission now would reveal past mistakes by top politicians that would end their careers. Well, you won't see their names on next Tuesday's primary election ballot, but Bernie Sims and Roy Richards are battling for a city council position. In part 3 of his special report on the upcoming city council elections, NewsBeat's Ken Crockett profiles the candidates for position number 2.
Economic development is a big issue with Councilman Bernie Sims, who has served on the council for the past 3 years. The snow-kissed executive feels that Yakima is on the verge of major growth, and he believes he can make a difference by remaining on the council.
If you look at this year's economic activity, which means jobs, means opportunities for people to work here in Yakima, you can see a direct turnaround from just 2 years ago. Sale of houses have increased by almost $8 million for the same period over last year, and I believe this is a record going back 15 years.
Sims was appointed to the council in 1986 and ran for election a year later to a 2-year term. Challenging Sims in the general election will be Yakima resident D. Roy Richards. The former Department of Emergency Services Director for the county is making his first attempt at political office.
More can be done to eliminate the drug traffic. I don't think that that is really a flag that we like to fly, that Yakima is the capital city of the Pacific Northwest drug industry.
Richards believes that citizen involvement is the key to winning the drug battle. This is Ken Crockett reporting for NewsBeat.
And tonight is the second week of high school football. Pretty exciting.
That it is. A couple of big games we'll tell you about. Also, we'll take a look at the big games for the Cougs and Dogs tomorrow when we come back with the rest of sports.
Do you think that for only $1.19 there is any way that you can resist the Dairy Queen Peanut Buster Parfait? Stop in. Test your willpower. $1.19.
In the land of Dairy Queen, we treat you right.
One price, one payment. $179 down, $179 a month at Hahn Chrysler Plymouth. One price, one payment. Today at Hahn Chrysler Plymouth.
Automotive experts say this is probably the best time of the past 5 years to buy a new car. And your Northwest Chevy dealer is the place with fabulous deals on everything. Fabulous incentives, fabulous saving on every Chevrolet car. Choose your model. Selection is fabulous. But experts say the longer you wait, the fewer the choices. See the Chevy dealer nearest you today. Your Northwest Chevy dealers. We prove the experts right.
It's harvest time, and you can harvest more than the crop this year with the harvest sale at Big R. You reap the savings on sweatshirts and pants for men and women. Your choice now, $7.99. Pennzoil motor oil, 30 weight, now 89 cents. 50 pounds Duralife dog food, now $9.99. Aluminum scoop shovel was $21.99, now $15.99. And save on pellet stoves, fall clothing, canning jars, antifreeze. Harvest time is here in the fields, orchards, and at Big R. Pick your harvest savings today. Big R, Union Gap, and Sunnyside.
Hello again, everyone. With the start of the second week of local high school football games tonight comes a number of key matchups in the Big 9 and Valley A Leagues. While Davis plays Seal in a non-league game tomorrow night, Ike will host Wenatchee at Zeffel Stadium. The Cadets looking for their first win of the season. Wenatchee, of course, beat Eastmont last week to open the season. Natchez will host Burbank in the league opener for both teams. That, of course, in the Valley A League. We'll have highlights of both those games for you tonight. A couple other local games this evening. Toppenish looks to go 2-0 in the league, hosting East Valley, while Wapato looks for their first W, entertaining Cle-Elum. A big day in college football tomorrow, highlighted nationally by the battle for #1 between top-ranked Notre Dame and #2 Michigan. That'll be in Ann Arbor. Closer to home, the Huskies look to go 2-0 on the year, hosting Purdue, which beat Miami of Ohio last week to open the season. It'll be a good test for the Huskies' new offense and quarterback Kerry Conklin, as the Boilermakers like to play man-to-man coverage. Meanwhile, in the Palouse, the Cougs will open Pac-10 play against Oregon State. Wazoo will be trying to break a 2-year trend that's seen them win their first 2 games of the season, only to fall in Game 3. Cougs quarterback Brad Gosson leads the nation in passing efficiency, and Oregon State head coach Dave Craigthorpe says he's concerned about Wazoo's quick strike offense.
Obviously, I know Mike Price very well, the new coach. I've coached against him before, and I know that he does a good job, and certainly this quarterback, Gosson, has come in and done an excellent job. So I think that I expected them to be a little better than most people did.
As for the Beavers, they haven't beaten the Cougars since 1978, but OSU opened the season and Pac-10 play last week with a 2016 victory over Stanford, and Craigthorpe says this is the best Oregon State defense in 5 years. The Beavers' offense is led by senior quarterback Nick Schliestel, who succeeds the record-setting Eric Wilhelm. A victory for OSU would be monumental. A win would be just as big for the Cougs.
This is a very important game to our program. We want to be running on all 8 cylinders. We want to be running 100%. We've primed ourselves for this game to play it right here in Pullman in front of our home fans, a first conference win, and we're going to be ready to play. I guarantee you that.
You'll be able to see that game here locally on Cable Channel 9. Kickoff from Pullman is 3:30. Finally, the Davis Pirates volleyball team had a tough task ahead of them last night in their home opener, hosting the defending Big 9 champion Pasco Bulldogs. The force behind the Bulldogs this season is junior outside hitter Debbie Sporsic. She had 15 kills in the match to lead Pasco to identical 15-3 victories in the first 2 games. Davis would make it interesting, though, in the 3rd game. Claire Vandevoort serving up the ace here as the Pirates would take an 8-7 lead in that 3rd game. They'd build it to 13-10 as Sally Hedges will rifle one off the Pasco defender. The junior had 14 kills to lead Davis in the match. The Pirates, though, would falter, and Pasco came back to win the 3rd and deciding game 15-13. The Pirates fall to 1-1 on the year. And, of course, non-league soccer last night. It was West Valley edging Davis 1-0, and East Valley beating Natchez in a shootout. And, of course, plenty of high school football tonight. We'll have highlights for you. The M's opening a 3-game series in New York. We'll bring you highlights from that game as well. Plenty of action all around. The pennant races continue to heat up. A key series starts in San Francisco between the Padres and Giants. All that and a whole lot more tonight. I'm sure you've got plenty to talk about.
That's right. We look forward to it. Thanks, Gary. An old drug is posing new problems for children in the Puget Sound area. Authorities say LSD is making a comeback. School counselors report that high school and junior high students say they can get LSD within 5 minutes of any school campus. LSD has surfaced periodically in the last 6 to 8 years. It was most popular in the 1960s. Toppenish High School has traditionally had a high dropout rate. One reason, many of the students' parents and older brothers and sisters did not graduate because they had to work in the fields. But a program started 2 years ago at Toppenish High School has helped these at-risk students break the cycle and go on to receive high school diplomas. NewsBeat's Kelly Schnell has the details.
When Coronado Valdez graduates from high school, he will be the first in his family to receive a diploma. Although Coronado is only a sophomore, he's confident he will graduate, thanks in part to the Academic Youth Employment Program at Toppenish High School. Through the program, Coronado, along with 40 other students, receives intensive tutoring. As a result, Coronado has seen his grades steadily climb. By successfully completing high school, Coronado feels he will have better job opportunities than his parents who work in a local warehouse.
I would like to have a good job, so life would be easier for me instead of what they're doing.
The program not only gives kids the opportunity to pick up good study habits here at school, but it also gives them the chance to learn about the realities of the working world. That's because the program also provides employment opportunities for the students. Senior Lynette Andrews has learned several office skills through her clerical job. Coronado has worked as a janitor's assistant.
It'll teach you, like how life's going to be, when you have a job, and you got to take the consequences when you mess up.
We found that the students that we're working with have a real strong work ethic, and their parents also identify with that real strong work ethic. And we wanted to tie the working, the job opportunity with academics.
The students are paid for their tutoring sessions and receive pay increases both on the job and in study sessions as a reward for good grades. But the biggest rewards, say school administrators, a high school diploma and the confidence that comes from achievement.
When the students can see that they can actually be successful in school and that they can be successful in jobs that they didn't see that they had an opportunity to do before, success breeds success.
In Toppenish, this is Kelly Schnell reporting for NewsBeat.
In regional news, the state Supreme Court has upheld a 1986 law stating the refusal of a person to take a breathalyzer test after a drunken driving arrest can be used as evidence for trial. The case under review involved a Clark County man who appealed his DWI conviction. The High Court felt the defendant was fairly convicted. The law no longer requires a judge to tell a jury not to speculate about the person for his refusal to take a breathalyzer when arrested. Columbia Gorge Commission Director Richard Benner has rejected a proposed windsurfing resort at White Salmon about 60 miles east of Portland. Benner says the resort would violate the National Scenic Area Act, which restricts commercial development to urban areas. A landmine simulator was removed yesterday from the northwest part of the Hanford Nuclear Reservation. An Army bomb disposal team removed the object, which had been discovered by a passerby. The simulator wouldn't have blown up, just produced a lot of smoke. And Boeing scientists have invented the most efficient solar cell yet for spaceships. The cell converts 37% of the energy in sunlight into electricity. And when we come back, Stu will have our weather forecast.
The Z800, the one Les Schwab recommends. Exciting new tread designs in pickup and RV radials. The performance all-season radial for the 90s. Sale prices on batteries and 50,000 aluminum custom wheels. All this and more, part of the Les Schwab Fall Tire Classic. Unique in today's tire industry, as more than 200 Les Schwab tire centers combine to bring you the largest gathering of tires, wheels, and batteries possible. A major event to get you ready for fall. Look for the sign and remember the name. Les Schwab.
Time out. Seconds are ticking away towards the end of your Northwest Chrysler Plymouth dealer's big 89 closeout. 89 closeout. And the watchword is savings with 0% financing or $1,000 back on luxurious Chrysler New Yorker Landau. Big savings. Landau comes with Chrysler's 550 Crystal Key Protection Plan. Better protection than even Mercedes or Rolls-Royce offers. See one today. Don't just sit and watch. It's time to go to your local Northwest Chrysler Plymouth dealer today.
Where is it written that a big bank must be inflexible?
Thou shalt not break the rules or take a shortcut. Oh.
At U.S. Bank, we think rules that put policies and procedures ahead of people were meant to be broken. U.S. Bank, we're unbeatable.
Is your landlord someone you want to know forever? Let Concept Homes show you how you can actually buy a home for what you're now paying in rent during Concept Homes' grand opening celebration, Friday through Sunday, September 15th, 16th, 17th on Main Street in Union Gap. That's right, buy a new Concept Series home for as little as 5% down and no closing costs during the sale. It's all happening in Union Gap September 15th through the 17th during Concept Homes' grand opening. Take the Concept Tour, an experience you won't forget. Concept Homes, Main Street, Union Gap.
Well, Mother Nature causes some rumbling in the Oregon area today.
That's right. At Mount Hood, at about 3 o'clock this morning, they had a 3.5 shaker, a little earthquake. It affected primarily the Timberline Lodge area. No damage or injuries or anything like that. Folks at the lodge say they expect these every once in a while. It was just a moderate earthquake, so they got up at 8 o'clock or at 3 o'clock in the morning, made coffee, and started the day. In Yakima now, our current temperature reading is 87 degrees. A northerly wind at about 6 miles per hour. Humidity 18%. Barometer falling from 29.78. All-time high temperature on this date was 90 degrees. The all-time low, a chilly 34 back in 1971. A year ago, the high was 80 degrees with a low of 41 degrees. Lows early this morning around the valley. Another one of those cool starts. 40 degrees for the low here in Yakima. It was also 40 degrees over at Olympia on the west side. Most of the other reporting stations not quite as cool as we and Olympia were. 42 for the low at Ellensburg, 48 at Toppenish, 47 at Sunnyside. Grandview with the low this morning of 49 degrees. High temperatures today. Enjoy them while you got them, because this looks as though it'll be the last string of warm temperatures. The weekend's going to be just a little cooler. 88 for the high here in Yakima, 87 at Ellensburg, 92 at Toppenish and Sunnyside. Grandview's high 91 degrees. In the central part of the state, still warm at the Dalles in Oregon with 90 degrees, up to 92 at Walla Walla, 94 in the Tri-Cities, 89 at Ephrata, and 88 at Wenatchee. The entire Pacific Northwest is enjoying this day, although the cooling has already started along the coastal sections. Forks, which had been close to 80 degrees and earlier this week above the 80 degree mark, managed only a 61. It was 63 at Hoquiam today. 76 for Seattle as they cooled down somewhat below that 80 degree string of days that they had. 65 at Stampede Pass, and Spokane's high temperature 82. You can see the clouds beginning to move toward the state out of the northwest. That'll be causing things to become mostly cloudy here in the Yakima Valley for tomorrow. We do have a risk of a shower or thunder shower, mainly of the afternoon or evening variety, but just a small, slight chance of that. Main factor will be some increase in cloudiness, some windy weather at times, and of course cooler temperatures. This is the cold front that's going to be pushing down now across the area. It's the erosion of the high pressure that kept the jet stream well to the north of us now is causing the jet stream to edge on to the south, and for the weekend it'll be pretty much over the Pacific Northwest. In that jet stream we have, in that flow, we do have this cold front, also a trough of very cold air up in the Gulf of Alaska that continues to slide down toward the southeast, toward the Pacific Northwest. It's a cool air mass that definitely will be cooling things down Sunday and Monday and for the first part of the week. There's possibility that some areas of the valley could have a little frost early Monday morning, perhaps early Tuesday morning, and in the Cascades, the snow level with this cool air mass is going to be dropping down to 5,000 feet tomorrow night, so there's a possibility of some snow up there. If you're planning mountain activities, high temperatures over the weekend, pass level will be in the 40s. If you're lucky, that'll be the warm situation. So cooler air beginning to push over the Pacific Northwest. That'll be the main factor for, it looks as though next week, probably lasting into next weekend. The real cold weather is going to be escaping us. We just got a cool blast coming out of the northern Pacific. Highs in the Cascades only in the 40s tomorrow, otherwise 70s here.
Impossible. 3 rooms of carpeting installed for $649. Impossible. Get up to 36 square yards of plush name brand carpeting from Schultz Furniture. For a limited time only, Schultz has the beauty and luxury of deep, soft, wall-to-wall broadloom carpeting to cover 3 entire rooms for just $649. And that includes delivery, a thick rubber padding, and professional installation. All for just $649. Right now at Schultz Furniture.
Moisture coming up from that former tropical storm Octave off the coast of Southern California. Doesn't appear it's going to be affecting the Pacific Northwest too much. It has picked up some clouds. Los Angeles with a high today of 83 degrees. And there's a possibility of some showers maybe as far inland as the central valleys of California, but not all that much in the way of precipitation because it's their growing season too, and they've got lots of raisins outside. Now here's our forecast for tonight. It'll be fair with just an evening breeze kicking up a little later. Low by morning will be about the mid-40s. For tomorrow, expect things to be mostly sunny, mostly cloudy, I should say. The high temperature for tomorrow will be in the lower to mid-70s range. A slight chance for an afternoon shower and a little bit breezy. Low tomorrow night, the mid-40s. And our extended forecast, clouds and still a little bit cool on Sunday. The same goes for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, with daytime high temperatures from the upper 60s to about the lower 70s range.
Is this almost fall weather, or is it too soon to tell?
Well, this will give us a little bit of a taste of fall. This is cool weather coming in. There is some cold weather, an Arctic front, and that looks as though it's going to be slipping down east of the Rockies next week. That's really cold air, and it looks as though at this point it's going to miss us.
Okay, thanks, Stu. And finally tonight, construction on the Yakima SunDome is now just 6 weeks away from completion. The outside of the dome is already 99% finished. Most of the remaining work to be done is on the inside. NewsBeat's Mark Horner brings us this story from all angles.
Building a dome is tricky work, especially on the very top where the concrete must be poured just right to make this fancy spread achieve its distinguished look. Today, workers installed the 24th and final section of the SunDome roof. Only the second concrete dome ever built. The first is the King Dome. And once you come here, when the dome is finally open, officials not only want you to be greeted by a great-looking dome on the outside, they want you to find a dome with its own distinct personality on the inside.
And the other thing is that what we were concerned about with an all-concrete structure is that it didn't end up being something that was just like a great big, a warehouse. So it's going to have some nice finishes in here. The interior will be stained and painted. All the ducting will have the kind of the bluish color that you're starting to see now. And then we'll end up having red seats, and we kind of got a beige, kind of a tan color that goes around the drum, and then the white ceiling. So I think it'll be a fairly refined, finished type of a space.
The acoustics here are expected to be superb, far better than the cavernous King Domes, and even nicer than the heralded Tacoma Domes.
This should outperform the Tacoma Dome considerably. So.
The Mullen Construction Company says it will wrap up work here October 28th. The dome itself is expected to officially open early next year. In Yakima, Mark Horner reporting for NewsBeat.
And I'm very anxious to see what it all looks like.
There's a great view from the top of the dome, isn't it?
That's right, bird's eye view. That's our news for this evening. We'll all be back tonight at 11, so please join us then. Good night.
Good night.
See ya.